Good morning, counselors. Kick off your Crocs and sit back. It's time for the Camp America Rest Hour.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome
Welcome back to the podcast.
back to another episode of Camp America Rest Hour.
God, you dragged that out.
Yeah,
Hello.
no, hello.
Um,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Have you got something to tell
Yeah,
everyone?
I only asked you that because I wanted you to ask me. I'm very good, thanks, Zoe. I've just finished the London Marathon 2 days ago.
No way.
Yes, way.
Well done.
Thanks for coming out to watch. It was great fun.
Yeah.
Did you have a good time?
Yeah, it was really fun watching you, actually. It was
It's
a lot
good,
of
isn't
fun.
it?
We had Camp America signs. That
Yeah,
was
they were
fun.
good.
Rest hour sign.
Yeah, that was good. They
Yeah.
were good fun, but
You've got
yeah.
your feet up on the table
Yeah,
now,
I know,
having
my
a
legs-
relax.
My legs are in bits. I showed you my toes earlier.
Yeah, I haven't seen his toes. Disgusting.
Black toenails.
Stop.
It's
People are
horrible.
listening to this while they're eating their dinner.
Oh yeah, sorry everyone.
Stop.
I had a blister the size of like a penny. It was horrible.
Oh.
It was good fun though. Hard work. Would
Yeah.
recommend to you if you want to do one.
Yeah.
Do you reckon you do one?
I won't. Absolutely not.
Sam, you've entered the ballot for next year, haven't you?
I have.
I
don't know if
can't.
did that.
I can't
I
wait
think
to
it's.
see
I
that.
think it was a scam. I think you were just into the day, and then you just thought, "Oh, I'll apply."
Probably.
I really want you to get it. That'd be the best thing I've
I
ever
want
seen
to
in
do
my life.
it. It looked like fun.
It's brilliant fun. Hard work though.
Yeah,
Tough.
not for me.
Well,
Definitely not for me. Should we get into
yeah,
today?
let's get into it. I just wanted to flex. I've done a marathon.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep talking about it until the end of next week, I reckon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. That
I
is
think
very
so.
fair.
Yeah. Why run a marathon if you can't talk about it?
Exactly.
And why go to camp if you can't talk about that either?
Yeah.
What a lovely segue into the next
that was
part.
a great segue.
That was good. So today, what are we going to be talking about, Zoe?
So today we're going to be talking about different camp types. So a lot of people get confused when they think about Camp America. They think it's one camp.
Yeah. People go, "Where is Camp America?" And it's
Yeah. And it's
like
like
America.
in America.
It's like loads of camps. We work with loads and loads of camps.
So many camps.
And they're all different. So no two camps are the same.
No.
But we kind of, at Camp America, to make everyone's lives a little bit easier, we kind of just put them in these big brackets, I suppose. So we've got like umbrella terms, haven't we, really?
Yeah, so there's like a few umbrella terms that we use to describe the different camps. So me and Joe both work at the same camp type, and we both work at private camps.
Yeah. So what are private camps?
So private camps are camps that have a lot of money to begin
Yeah.
with. They have really good facilities, and they're usually the camps you see on the posters and things like
Yeah.
that. And they are a lot of fun.
Yeah, the kids' parents or like the kids, whoever's paying for it, usually pay quite a bit of money. So like thousands of dollars for them to go. But obviously they are getting like a brilliant experience out of it because the facilities are great.
Yeah.
Like they're usually quite historic as well. The camps.
I was going to say that it's a very, very traditional
Yeah,
camp
it's good,
type.
not
So they're
historic.
usually historic.
Traditional.
No, they're traditional. So like the kids usually stay there for like a long time.
Yeah.
Most private camps will be sleepaway camps, but
Yeah.
there's also private day camps.
So what's the difference between sleepaway and day?
So a sleepaway camp will usually be in sessions. It can be like 1, 2, 3, 4 sessions.
Yeah.
And the kids will stay there for an extended period of time. And they'll sleep at the camp. So you might be in a cabin as a counsellor with around like 10 kids.
Yeah.
And you kind of look after them every day. Whereas a day camp, the kids will go home. And then you'll get your evenings and your weekends off.
Yeah. So we both work like. When we talk in the podcast, a lot of the time we're talking about our own experiences. We work at sleepaway camps, sleepaway private camps. Yours is slightly different, I suppose, because yours is just for girls, isn't it?
Yeah, my camp's just for girls. So, and it also is 2 sessions. Your camp's
My camp's just
one
one. Yeah.
session.
So my kids come on the first day, leave on the last day. They're there for 7 weeks.
My
What
kids,
sessions
so we
then?
have 8 weeks, but you can do 4-week session.
Okay. So do a lot of the kids stay for the whole 8 weeks?
Yeah,
or-
the older kids will stay for the full 8, but if they're younger, they'll stay just for 4.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's like everyone always talks about session camps, but I don't really know anything about them because I've never worked at one.
It is nice. It's nice because then you get a different group of kids if you're with the younger kids for
Yeah.
your second session.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I like a sleepaway camp.
Yeah.
It
I
feels
think-
like the movies.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It definitely does.
Yeah.
But obviously, all these camp types are down to your preference. If you're listening to this and you haven't decided, like we just worked at the camp type that was right for us, I guess. Wasn't
Yeah,
it?
I always say that is really a camp for everyone. Like
Yeah.
whatever you're interested in, your like style of like how you work. Because like some people work better if like the kids leave at night because
Yeah.
they're like not big like being around all the kids all the
They're
time.
a fan of their
people.
sleep as well. aren't
Yeah,
they, sort of
yeah,
thing?
like you're a fan of sleep, or if you're more like someone who's interested in the actual like camp culture, like
Yeah.
a sleepaway camp might be for you, or it could be to do with your career progression as well. So some of the camp types we're going to speak about in this episode can help you progress in careers in certain areas and things like that. So it is all up to you what
Yeah,
camp type you
it
want
is
to work at,
completely.
really.
So Zoe and I are not experts at
No,
summer camp.
we are not experts.
I'd say we are pretty good at private camps, but obviously we have to be. We don't know a lot about other camps, do we?
No,
So-
we don't. And that's why we're using this episode as well for us to find out, as well as like
Yeah.
inform you guys about different camp types.
So we're going to be talking about 3 different types of camp types, and we're going to be having guests in who work in the office who have worked at these types of camps. So in this episode today, we're going to be talking about 3 different types of camps. We've obviously already covered religious or Jewish camps, so if you haven't checked that episode out, go and check that out. But the 3 camp types we're going to be talking about today are underserved camps, Girl Scout camps, and also special needs camps.
So the first camp type we're going to talk about today is underserved camp.
So we don't really know much about underserved camps at all.
No, because we haven't been to an underserved
Yeah,
camp.
so we've brought a lovely special guest from the office in today. Her name is Drew. Drew, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi guys, my name is Drew. I currently work at the Camp America office. I went to Fresh Air Fund back in 2019, which is in Fishkill, New York.
In where?
Fishkill, New York.
Fishkill.
That was
yeah,
cool.
it's like
That's
a small little
cool.
town with like one Walmart, like
Oh.
one chicken place. And that's just it. Yeah.
Everything you need.
Yeah, literally everything you need.
That's all you need.
What was your role on camp?
So I was a general counsellor, and then we also had like a co-counsellor too. So there was 2 of us in one cabin with the boys. I was on the all boys campus.
Oh,
Wait, and you were in? Did you sleep in the cabin? No.
Yeah.
Oh, you
with-
did.
Yeah, with the boys.
With the
yeah.
boys.
Yeah, there
That
was
is-
me
Wow.
and 7 other boys. In the
I have
cabin.
never heard that before.
Really?
Yeah.
There's like a in the cabins there was like a little like wall, but like it was like half a wall. So that was my cover. So I couldn't get changed in the cabin. I had to go to like the bathroom. Or if the boys went in there, I could change in the cabin. So kind of like, you know, I had to really think about it while I was gonna get changed that morning.
Wow.
That's so interesting.
yeah.
I had no idea.
I had literally no idea.
Yeah.
Wow. And there was 2 counsellors in your cabin.
Yeah, so me and then my co-counselor, who was a guy. So yeah. Just me
Wow.
alone in the cabin with all these boys. It was a lot.
So was it a small camp then?
Cape Hayden Marks, there was like, I'd say around like 200 kids, like for the whole summer.
Oh, okay.
But the Fresh Air Fund is a huge camp. So you've got like Camp Mariah, Camp Junior, Camp Tom, which are different camps. So like, in like
Which
10
one were
minutes
you at?
apart. Camp Hayden Marks?
Oh, okay.
And are they all underserved camps?
Yeah, yes, all on the service. Like all the kids go for free.
So,
So
yeah, I was gonna say
what does
is
underserved like mean? What is
what is
it?
an underserved
Yeah,
camp?
so like kids who don't come from the best backgrounds or the richest backgrounds come to camp for free. So they're not like left out, basically, is what it is. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So are they usually like kids from like inner city areas? that
Yeah, so
kinda
like Brooklyn, Bronx, all that. Yeah. All that.
Oh wow. Okay.
So surely then being at camp must have a massive impact on those campers' lives.
Yeah, definitely, because it's not something they experience every day. Like, being able to swim is a big thing because they don't have access to like the public swimming pools that you would have usually.
Yeah.
So like even swimming for them is a big thing. Like most of the kids that I was with, they couldn't swim. So
Wow.
they would all be like in the red zone, which is like really shallow water, like up to your ankles. So for them to not even be in the water was like a really big thing for them.
Yeah, and then would they learn to swim like over the summer?
Well, they would try to, because every session was like 2 weeks long, and that's not enough time to know how to swim.
No,
Yeah.
obviously. But they would try their best, I guess. But yeah.
That's really
That's
cool experience so that they
interesting.
could
Yeah.
like come to camp and then do things like that are like life skills they wouldn't get anywhere else.
Yeah.
I suppose it's
That's
not
so
really something you
cool.
think about because like at our camps in particular, swimming is a massive thing,
Yeah.
and like
And all the kids can
can
usually
swim.
at my
Yeah.
camp. Yeah.
You
so
know.
that's really like that is interesting. Isn't
That's
it?
so
Like,
much more rewarding though than
Mm.
I was just standing at the side of the pool like watching them
yeah.
splash about. Like
Yeah, no,
at least
we
you're having
had
an
to get in.
impact.
We had to get in.
Yeah,
And
really.
because it was all boy camp, female counselors had to always get in the water with them too. Like, you know,
Wow.
it's different for a girl, you know,
Yeah.
time of the month and all that. You still had to get in the water. Like, those
Wow.
boys needed you in the pool because they couldn't swim. So you were needed in that water.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
suppose you're an extra pair of eyes as well. Aren't you?
Definitely.
God.
Would you say there was one particular camper that like roosted out for you where you'd like made an impact on their lives? Like, was there one person you were like, wow, I've really done something big here?
Absolutely. So there was this one kid, I don't know if I can say his name. We'll just call him like A for now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So A was one of my favorite kids. You don't have to have favorites, but I had this favorite kid. And the way I knew that I made an impact on him was when he spoke to me. So when he first came to camp, he didn't speak, like he was mute, didn't say a word to anyone at all.
Wow, okay.
And my village leader, so our division leader, was like, "Oh, Drew, this kid, he doesn't speak." And I was like, "Oh man, like, oh, what do I have?" He's like, "No, you can do it. You can do it." Like, not like in a mean way, but you know, I was like, "Okay." And my first year, I was like, "Oh gosh, how am I going to do this?" And I would catch him talking to the other campers. So I'd be like, "Oh, I heard you speak," and he'd be like. He'd be like, "Oh my god!" So and then one day I caught him talking for like a good 30 seconds. Like, "Oh my god, I know you speak now, so you're gonna talk to me. I'm gonna make you talk to me." And he was like, "No," and I was like, "Oh my god, you spoke to me!" And then like as the like days went by, he was like talking to me more because he got comfortable with me, I think.
Yeah.
And then when we go to like our high ropes course, the kids had to pull the counselors up the rope themselves as like a challenge.
Wait, they pulled you up?
Yeah, like they were on the like pulling the rope for me to get up to like the top of the tree, and then they let it go. That's when you do the drop. And as I dropped, he was laughing so hard. I was like, screaming, "I hate singing from I hate the high, I hate it all." It was so funny. And he was laughing so hard. And when I got down, he was like, "Oh my god, Drew, that was so funny." And I was like, "You're talking to me."
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah, and then at the end we talked about K-pop. Because he loved K-pop. Like, "Oh my god, you like K-pop?" "Me too." So that was like our bonding. And then he wouldn't speak to anyone else but me at the end. And I was like, yeah, that's my kid.
You've done it. You've done it. That's really nice.
That's so nice.
So you've mentioned like swimming and high ropes. What are the facilities like at camp, like an underserved camp?
They're okay. So like our showers, for example. So when I talk to other people about their camp experience, I'm like, "Oh yeah, our bathroom was outside the cabin." And they're like, "What?" So like our cabin didn't have like any aircon. It had like a little square for a window. It was very like rustic, and then we had to go outside like a 30-second walk to the bathroom and the showers. Wow. They weren't the cleanest, obviously, and then it was an all-boy camp, so it was a bit dirtier than, you know, all-girls camp, let's say.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, yours is...
No, mine's pretty gross.
Yeah, no, so like the shower, so if you want to shower, you'd have to get there first, otherwise the hot water would run out. So most of the time I had hot shower, as I had cold showers, so I didn't get there in time. There were so many people, so many kids, and the kids shower first, so I'd have cold showers like almost every night. What else is there? Obviously, you go down to dining hall. Dining hall's pretty big. Everyone eats together. So
how's the food at camp?
It wasn't the greatest. Like, I actually lost weight at camp.
Me too.
Because I didn't actually eat all the food. Like, obviously, you have to encourage the kids to eat everything on their plate. How could I do that if I eat all the food on my plate? So I'm like, you know what? Let's get a salad, guys. Yeah. Like, there would be lots of days where I just get a salad with like croutons and ranch, and that would be it for me.
Yeah, no, I was the same. I was the same.
But yeah, apart from that, it was obviously didn't have a lot of activities either. So like, our basketball court wasn't like a fresh, like brand new stadium kind of thing. Just like a two, what do you call those things? Basketball hoops. Yeah. No basket, just the rim.
Oh, really? No, like net?
Yeah, no net. Wow. That's it. Balls were a bit flat, so you could pump them every day because they get flat really easily. But the kids still had fun. Like they would be able to like invent their own games and stuff. And like water was a big thing for them. Like even splashing water, having like water balloon fights, that was huge. Yeah. And yeah, they loved that. But yeah,
I feel like not to like stereotype, but I feel like they'd appreciate the facilities they had so much more because they were like having this experience at camp, whereas I feel like the kids at my camp, they come to camp and they have these incredible facilities, but they just like expect it. So like they'll have like the most incredible like thing and they'll be like, "Oh, it's not good enough." But I feel like the kids at your camp, it sounds like they appreciate it so much more.
I never heard a kid saying, "Oh, I don't appreciate this," or "I don't, oh, this is like
this is rubbish."
Like my kids don't even go to their activities.
Really?
Like they have the opportunity to like literally go water skiing or do something cool and they just won't go. They'll just sit around.
That's crazy. If our kids could water ski, we would never be in our cabins. Like there would be, wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, that's why it sounds so much more rewarding, like your experience compared to mine, because I feel like I'm almost sometimes just like a babysitter. Like I obviously am having an impact on their lives, but like they have these opportunities all the time, so they don't understand how great it is that they have it.
Absolutely. So like one of the kids, he wasn't in my cabin, So on the way back to
how old were the kids you had? Were they the same
11-year-old boys.
Wow.
Yeah.
Rough.
So it was, that kind of age where we have those kind of talks, you know, of like, oh guys, okay. So there was one day we were going back to the city and drop him off, and one kid, he was kind of a little terror. To say, when he got back on the coach to go back to the city, he was like crying. I was like, "Why are you crying? You know, you're like this. You know, why are you crying?" He's like, "I don't want to go back home." And I was like, "Oh, like I didn't know what to say to him." I was like, "You know what? I don't want to go home either, but you know what? You had the best time here, and just come back next year, because the kids, I think it goes up. I think Camp Tommy is the oldest camp for the boys, so he could always come back next year. But he just said he didn't want to go home, and then he spent 2 weeks at camp. So for him to say, I don't want to go home, I don't want to go back, it's kind of like, oh, like you kind of see what kind of background they're coming from, and like you're like they appreciate it way more. Of course.
Yeah. What was it like being a girl at an all boys camp? Was there like, was it just you, or was there a few of you?
So in my village, there was 5 girls, 5 girl counsellors, and the rest were all boys, like male counsellors and the campers, obviously. We kind of bonded a lot more because there was few of us, so you know, power is one of us. So yeah, it was a bit difficult, obviously, because changing in the showers, the small cubicles, or even like when it's your time of the month, you'd have to kind of be secretive about it, or like if you go off the boys, be like, oh Drew, where are you going? And be like, oh no, I'm just going to the toilet.
Yeah.
Like, but then why are you going so often? I'd be like, you know what, I just have to go.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So that's kind of questions that you get, and obviously they're 11-year-old boys, so they start asking like questions about like puberty and different body parts. You kind of like have to explain that to them. Obviously they're going to be a bit curious, so to say. So you kind of have to like have that boundary a little bit more with the boys.
Yeah, I was going to say,
just so they know that, you know, personal body space is a big thing. There was one time at camp where I didn't have my body space to myself, and I had to tell my village leader about it, and we had to sit down with the child and be like, hey, this isn't appropriate to do. So you have to have those conversations. Obviously it's uncomfortable, but you have to have it. Like they need to understand,
isn't it?
and from a young age too, you don't want to have them grow up and be like, oh, this is the method they're going to have, that it's okay to do this to somebody else. But yeah, it was challenging, but it was fun.
Yeah.
I feel like a mum to like a son or something. There was one kid who I loved. He was I think he had a behavioural issue, so he would get angry quite quickly, and he kind of clung on to me. He was like my little baby. I loved him so much. And he was, I know, he would talk to me when he like felt like he had an issue, or he couldn't talk to his cabin leader. So I felt kind of like touched that he would like talk to me about it. So I definitely felt like a mother figure to them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I bet you had like a proper impact on these kids, especially being like a girl at an all boys camp. But I get you probably get so much, like, I don't know, I bet you get like a lot of respect from the kids, especially like the younger boys, because like you said, sort of looking at you as like an older sister, or sort of almost like a motherly figure as well. So I bet that, like, how does that make you feel? Like,
it made me feel like really happy and like proud. Like, I didn't see it as like a big thing. So like one time our kids had to sit down with like one of the other village leaders, or like the head staff, and be like, hey, like, what do you like about your counsellors, what you don't like? And the kids came back and was like, oh, Drew's amazing, we love her so much. And I was like, oh wow, like I didn't think I was doing such a good job. Like, I guess I'm just doing what I thought was right. So having them saying that, oh, like, Drew's amazing, Drew's this, she's that, I was like, oh damn, like I'm good. I was like, yeah. So having that kind of impact, I'm like, I'm doing well, and they're gonna remember there's someone they have with me. So I'm just like, yes. Yeah,
that's really nice. A lot of the kids, obviously we don't know a lot, but so they come from sort of like inner city areas. Is there a lot of like behavioural issues with them, or are they they're just kids sort of thing? Like,
yes and no. So like in my cabin, I had one kid who was like, he was bad. I'm not gonna lie, he was bad. And so there kind of be also some kind of racial tensions too, because like during the last few sessions, there'd be like some Asian kids and black kids, but more black kids, and there'd be some kind of racial issues. So like in my cabin, there was one Asian kid. He was kind of like, you know, someone who's like really like he pushes your buttons. And he does that with other kids. So it's kind of trying to find that balance between trying to figure out, like, try not to get them to fight, or like just them being kids. So obviously kids like rough house to say, but you don't want to get it too far. Like, I wouldn't allow any touching of anyone in my cabin, absolutely not. Just because I know it could escalate, and I knew my boys. I knew that if I allowed someone to push someone, it'd be a fight. Absolutely, 100%. Of course, your village is always there for you to support you as well, because obviously they know more than we do. But yes, you'd have to kind of keep your eye out even more so. Yeah, definitely.
So you mentioned like sort of like the racial tension. Obviously, this is just one camp, but so our camp, majority of the kids are white.
Yeah, my camp is not diverse at all.
I was gonna say, is there a lot of like diversity in terms of ethnicity at your camp?
So it depends on the session. So we have 4 sessions. So every session is 2 weeks long. So the first session was like all Asian kids. There'd be a few black kids, and then as the West sessions went on, it was more black kids, less Asian kids, and like you also get some like Hispanic kids too. So I don't think I ever saw maybe like 1 or 2 white kids at the camp. It was
That
very,
was
very
it.
few.
Wow. Okay.
I don't actually
Wow.
remember any white kids in my cabin. No, I don't think I had any.
Wow, really?
That's so
Yeah.
interesting
'Cause
because
I was,
I didn't have
yeah.
any racial diversity in my cabin at all, like over 5 years.
What, really?
Yeah, which is crazy. But I don't know. I don't know why it is.
No, I
But-
don't.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Like your camp sounds so much more like vibrant and diverse and like stuff going on. Like it
Yeah.
makes my camp seem a bit flat almost. Like we're just taking rich kids to go on holiday and like
Yeah.
you know. But like I feel like what you're doing is actually having an impact.
Mm.
Do you feel like working at your camp type had an impact on you
Oh,
as well?
Yes, yeah, it did. Working with all boys, it made me a little bit more resilient, and kind of not to put up with nonsense. So, my co-counselor, let's call him Zed. You know, I won't say his
ANZ.
name online. He wasn't the best that he could be, and so it put a lot of pressure on me and made me have more responsibility over our boys. So I had to work like twice as harder
Yeah.
to make their summer better, and it made me kind of, you know, like burnout towards the end of camp is hard. So it kind of made me feel like, you know, I can do this. I believed in myself a lot more. When I went to camp, I was really, really shy. I didn't speak to anyone like the first couple of days.
Oh,
I
that's so
was
interesting now because you're so
Yeah,
confident.
so social now.
So
when I came
social.
back from camp, I was like, I'm a boss bee. Like, I can do it. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, I handle all these boys by myself, basically. And I was like, I can do whatever I want. Like, I can do anything. Because
Yeah.
I felt that much stronger that I could do that in that kind of pressured environment. And like, where you have all these kids around you looking up to you and you have to look after them, it's kind of like putting you in a difficult situation, but you have to do it for the kids. And
Yeah.
so, yeah.
At the end of the day, it all comes down to the kids,
Yeah.
really, doesn't
yeah.
it?
Yeah.
So overall, you'd say you're grateful for your experience at
Yeah.
the camp.
1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%. I'm so glad I went. Yeah.
What would you have, like, what piece of advice would you give to someone who's going to an underserved camp who's sort of like not sure about it or like doesn't really know anything about it? What would you say to them? Like,
I would say go for it 100%. Like, obviously, it is harder
yeah,
than if you were to go to like a private camp, obviously, because the facilities aren't as up to par and there's not much, there's not a lot to do. The kids kind of get, I guess, bored of the same activity, like dance every day
Yeah.
or, you know, swimming every day. Be ready to be challenged, I think. Some kids do come from poor backgrounds. Like one kid of mine, he experienced really bad stuff and he was telling me about it. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Be ready to be mentally prepare yourself for the kind of things you're going to hear from the
Yeah.
kids,
Yeah.
and know that they are from backgrounds that are rough, so don't blame it all on them. Kind of
Yeah.
like kind of take them away from that kind of city life and embrace the nature that you're in, because once they go back, that's it for them. Like
Yeah,
those 2 weeks is up,
yeah.
that's all they get. 2 weeks in the summer, and that's
Wow.
I suppose those 2 weeks that they get are just them being kids, whereas if they're at
Yeah.
home, I suppose a lot of the time they have to grow up a lot quicker than
Yeah.
the rest of the world, I suppose,
Yeah.
like the rest of kids. The rest of kids, you know what I mean?
it.
The rest of children. So yeah, I suppose it's like for you, did it change your life, do you reckon?
Oh my God, yeah. I always remember my favorite kid again. I always remember him. Whenever I told my camp stories, I'm like, oh my God, this happened.
Yeah.
Or like, my sister's going to camp this year. I'm like, Alex, oh my God, go to underserved camp. Like, I kind of like, I think pushed her a little bit towards that,
yeah.
just because it has such an impact on you and the kids too, because they remember that forever.
Yeah.
And I always think back on my stories, like my memories of Snapchat was like, what, 6 years ago or something?
Yeah.
6 years ago, I can't even count. 2019, 4 years ago.
4 years ago. Got back for
And one of the kids was like, oh my God, Drew. And I was like, oh my God, hi. Just those memories that you remember for life is like, just incredible.
Yeah.
I don't want to say go for it.
No,
So you
never.
mentioned your sister. I remember she got hired at the recruitment fair recently,
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
Did you feel, and you also got hired at recruitment fair,
I did,
right?
yeah.
Did you feel like there was some kind of pressure to go to like a private camp or like an all girls camp, because that was a camp type that's like almost expected of people to go talk to? Like, how did you feel going and talking to an underserved camp and an all boys camp as well?
I obviously, before I went to the fair, I looked up the camps and I were going to be there.
Yeah.
So I was kind of having my research. I was like, oh, this looks really cool. Like, they had really cool activities like water skiing, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
Or like they had like mountain biking or like yoga. And I was like, oh, this is crazy.
On paper, they look
Yeah,
crazy,
they look
right?
amazing. But it didn't reflect me. So like, obviously the kids they go to private camps, are majority white. And I was like, I want to make an impact on the kids that look like me.
Yeah.
That was one of my main like motivations to go to underserved camp,
Yeah.
to help kids that look like me. So when I went to the camp, the recruitment fair, I was like, hey, like I saw your camp online, like it looks amazing, like you should hire me because this. And like we like you, we're gonna hire you. It was that simple.
Did you get
Because
hired
I-
straight away?
Yeah,
Wow.
I was the first one out.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, because I knew what I wanted to do, and I knew I wanted to impact those kids that looked just like me. So
Wow, that's so great to hear because often we go to the recruitment fair and you'll see those big lines for those camps that people just straight away think of because they have a big presence online or things like
Yes.
that. But I think people forget, like, there are no bad camps. Like,
Yeah,
these
exactly.
camps are also incredible camps and people forget about them a lot of the time.
A lot of the time
Yeah.
people look at what they've got as opposed to who they've got and like the
Yes.
kids that
Yeah.
they've got. And I think you're obviously the perfect example of like a camp that might look a bit rustic and rough around the edges, but you've obviously come away from it, completely changed your life, but you've also completely changed the lives of these kids that you didn't even know at the start of your session. And now, like, it's just brilliant.
It's
isn't
incredible.
It?
It's
It's
incredible.
amazing.
Well, thank you for telling us your story today.
Yeah, thank you
Drew.
so much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
no worries, guys. Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
So now we're going to talk about another camp type. It's
Yeah.
a little bit different again. So we're going to be talking about Girl Scout camps.
Yeah, I don't really know anything about Girl Scout camps. I know that the Girl Scouts are big in the US because obviously
Yeah.
I've seen.
When they sell the cookies.
Yeah, what's in Despicable Me where he's buys
Yeah,
the cookies? Yeah,
buys
brilliant
the
film, by the way.
cookies, yeah.
Yeah, that's all I kind of really know. I know it's a big like organisation. I know there's also the Boy Scouts as well.
Yeah.
We're not going to cover Boy Scout camps because
Just
they don't
Scouts.
really. They do exist, but they're not as prominent as Girl Scout camps.
Yeah, it's a big thing over there to go
Yeah.
to Girl Scout camp.
So we've got a lovely guest on the podcast. Izine, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi. So I'm Izine. I'm 23. I'm from London. That felt very much like
That
a
was very formal.
very
wasn't it? I like
formal.
it.
you know, like on like Love Island.
Take me out. Single man, reveal yourself. So you went to which camp did you go to, Izine?
I went to Camp Runnels.
And it is a.
It's a Girl Scout camp.
Woo!
And actually, you have a different name at camp, right?
Oh, do we? Yes, we do.
yes, we do.
What's your camp name?
Uh,
Go on.
Go on,
We
tell
know
us. We know.
I was also known as Donut.
If
Ignore
any of
the
your campers
American
are
accent
listening.
as well. It
Yeah.
comes out.
Donut. And I think
It's
we
a
should
good
just
word, though.
cover this before we get into the stories about camp today. Is probably camp names because it's going to come up a lot
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
So we obviously already know this because it's our favorite Girl Scout fact.
It's so fun to read all the
But
names.
could you just explain to everyone listening why you don't use your name at camp?
Yeah, do you know what? I didn't even realise that other camps didn't do this. I
Did you?
genuinely
It's definitely a
didn't
Girl
even,
Scout
didn't even
thing.
realise. But I don't know why we do it. I think it's just something fun. I don't think you necessarily have to do it.
No.
Yeah.
But it's fun because it's like the kids can kind of try and guess your name. And it also just gives you a little bit of privacy as well. If you don't want them knowing
Yeah.
your whole entire life, they just know you as Donut, you know?
It's quite good though.
Yeah.
brilliant.
So how did you come about picking your name, Donut?
Oh, do you know what? I couldn't even think of a name. I probably thought about it just before I went to America. Because I think it's weird when you don't have a nickname and then suddenly you're gonna get called that. It doesn't feel right. Do you know what I mean?
Especially
it
like a
just-
forced
yeah,
nickname,
it feels
isn't
forced,
Yeah.
exactly. So I was trying to be like, oh, what can I do? Like Marvel. I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
So then I was like, okay, my name was already a nickname, so Izzy and I use Izzy. So I was like,
Oh,
oh,
okay.
like I just don't know what to do. And then I kind of was like, oh, what about donuts? Like I like donuts. I like my friends call me that.
Yeah.
I was like, it fits. Like I quite
It
like
works,
It's
it.
it
really
works.
fun.
It's
I love
basic.
it.
There are like better, there are
Axolotl.
better names. Yeah, exactly. There's so much better names. Tim Tam,
Yeah.
Pickles.
But I think yours is quite good as well because like it's such a British phrase, isn't it? Like calling
Like,
someone a donut. Oh, you're such
You're
a
such
donut.
a donut.
No,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like that's
Yeah,
and it
that's
works for
where it
you
came
as well.
from.
Like, we know
Yeah.
you quite well.
But
You are
it's
quite a
spelled
donut.
the American name.
DONUT.
Yeah.
Do nuts.
What would
Do
your
nuts.
nickname be, Joe?
My nickname, Legend, Cool Boy,
Marathon
runner. Yeah. Anything. I'd be the quickest boy in the West. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. What would yours be?
Probably like Yorkshire pudding or something.
Oh, that's nice. That's great.
I hate that. I hate that. So what would yours be? Yours would be something Star Warsy.
Yeah. Wales, you could just be Wales. Or daffodil. Don't they have
Daffodil.
daffodils in Wales?
Yeah.
Dragon.
Dragon.
I can't like daffodil.
Oh, we're really into this.
Yeah. This is
Yeah.
fun. So that's
tweet us your camp names.
yeah. That's like the big difference I think
Yeah.
between like private camps and Girl Scout camps is like nicknames.
That's
Like,
something we know about, yeah.
Everyone just calls me Joe,
Yeah, everyone just calls me Zoe.
which
That's so
technically
weird to
is a
me.
nickname of mine.
That's so weird because I got called Donut for 2 months. When I tell you we were in Walmart and Target, you'd literally hear me being like, Simba, where are you? I couldn't tell you what their names were. Like
That's
I couldn't tell you
crazy.
anyone's name.
Do you know them now or not?
Yeah, when I text them, I'm like, hey Star. I'm like, hey
What, you
Laura.
still call them that?
Yeah, I still do. I couldn't tell you their names.
It's so fun.
That is so
That is
fun.
really fun.
Where was your camp?
It was in New Hampshire.
Okay.
I think right by Salem, about
Oh,
30 minutes
cool.
away from Boston.
I don't know where
Was
that is.
it? So the Girl Scout camps, obviously they've got their own names as well. So yours is called Camp Reynolds, but is it part of a branch of like Girl? Because I know there's Girl Scouts of Eastern Pennsylvania.
No, so we're Girl Scouts of, I think it's Massachusetts or Eastern Massachusetts.
Okay.
But yes,
Yeah.
it falls under like a whole branch, and then you got different camps underneath that. Yeah,
Do you know about the camps? It's quite a few, isn't there? Like,
there are quite a few. I know it's mostly kind of like, you know, like New Hampshire, Pennsylvania. I don't really know any out towards the west.
I think there's Girl Scouts of
Scouts-
Eastern California.
California, yeah,
Oh,
we
okay, I
work
didn't
with
know that.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there are quite a lot of Girl Scout camps. One thing that I think that I know, I'm just going off stereotypes that I know about camps right now, is that isn't it quite back to basics, a Girl Scouts camp?
Yes.
Quite rustic, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yep.
What was that like? Explain what it was like, why it was so basic.
Like your living was different,
Yeah.
right, where you lived?
Yeah, do you know what? That was my biggest fear going in.
Was it?
Yeah. I was like, ugh, not to sound bad, but I'm like a 3-star minimum kind of hotel girl.
3-star.
I need the bathroom
A
to be
travel
clean.
lodge.
I need to grab the light and check the beds. But
With the UV light over it, like,
exactly. But do you know what? I actually quite loved it. It wasn't that bad. It's very much like, yeah, it's basic. Like you do, like we've got, I think the majority of our toilets are basically a hole in the floor.
Wow.
Oh, wow, okay.
We do have like flushable toilets in the main bathroom, but other than that, it's a hole. And then we've got like outdoor showers as well. We do have indoor.
that's kind of fun.
But,
That's really cool.
yeah, it's just pretty much like basic. We've got like basic, kind of like rooms as well.
Did you sleep in platform tents at your camp?
So we had different ones. We had like the open cabins, the platform tents.
What's an open cabin?
So an open cabin is basically just like, you know, like a normal cabin, but there's no doors, there's no windows. It's just
Wow.
completely open.
They've got like a roof.
No, it's got like, you got a bit of like paneling around it, but it's just open. Like you can't close the door and you can't close the window. It's just
Wow.
Wow.
I actually loved them. That was
Did you?
I stayed in that first. I don't know why, I just loved it. The thunderstorms are great. You can just look out.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah, like
quite
you're
nice,
really
isn't
back
it?
to nature, I guess,
Yeah.
at a Girl Scout
The only
camp.
thing I will say is the mosquitoes.
I was
in
gonna
there.
say, yeah.
I'm mad. Like you do need a net, otherwise
Do you
you're getting
do you
eaten
get
alive.
given them or do you have to buy them?
We got given them. So Internationals got given them. But if like any of like the Americans, they bought their own. They had a little like the tent ones.
Oh,
So we
yeah,
had the
yeah,
normal
yeah.
netting, but they had the tents. But yeah, we got given them.
That's pretty fun. So what's the difference between like a platform tent and an open cabin?
Yeah, so the platform tent is kind of like, it's based, how I describe it, it's just a tent, it's just on a platform.
Because they're
That's
like,
the best way to describe it. And
aren't
then you
they
can open the
fancier
flaps.
than our tents? Like I'm thinking of like going
Reading
to like Leeds
Festival,
Fest,
yeah.
and having that gross
Oh
like
no, they're
horrible
definitely,
pop-up
they're
tent.
fancier than that. They're like quite big, they're massive. You can open up the sides. Sometimes you can roll up, so you can call them like floating tents as well.
Mm-hmm.
Where
Okay.
basically you roll up the sides, so it's literally just like a floating tent.
That's cool. I
yeah.
quite like that.
Yeah, our
You-
camp was basically those two.
You have a bed, right, though?
Yeah,
as well?
yeah.
You're not
very
sleeping on the
uncomfortable.
floor because
Bunk
I
beds.
slept on the floor when I would go. Like I'm thinking
Oh,
DV
no,
now
no,
as
no.
well.
And they
Like
weren't-
on the floor.
They weren't like camp beds either, were they? Are they like proper
Proper beds.
beds?
So in the cabins, they were bunk beds. The
Okay.
mattresses were awful. I'm not gonna lie. Like
Yeah.
you
I feel
do
that's
wake
just a
up,
camp
but I
thing.
feel like
Buy a
when you're
protector,
so
I'd say.
tired, you don't care.
Yeah.
You know?
yeah.
And then with the platform tents, it wasn't bunk beds. It was just spaced out, but you still get a mattress. Yeah. So in all of
Okay.
them, it was a mattress. It wasn't on the floor.
So it's like
That's-
glamping. It's not like
Yeah,
our version
yeah.
of camping.
I would
It's
say
like
glamping.
glamping.
Yeah.
So when you signed up for Camp America, did you have any idea of what sort of camp you wanted to go to, or did you just go for it?
I had no clue.
Did you not?
Yeah, no clue. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of didn't really know what Camp America was.
Did you think it was one?
You needed to
someone-
listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
No, right?
Yeah.
I had someone come to my uni, and I was like, oh, I want to do that. I signed up, had no clue. I followed the instructions though, like I knew what to do. You just follow the instructions, like it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Didn't even know how to do an MC appointment. I was like, what's this? But I went ahead anyway.
Rocked up.
Yeah, just rocked up. And then my camp reached out to me very quickly. They were
Okay.
really lovely. Like I had to interview with them, but they were the first people that I went with. Didn't wait for anyone else.
Just
went
went
straight.
Me too.
straight
I went
for
to
it.
the
Yeah,
first
me
one.
too. And was that? Do you think you benefited from doing that? Like, because you didn't get time to think
Yeah,
about
because
anything.
obviously you
sort
were
of?
really
100%.
open-minded
Yeah,
because you didn't have an
100%.
idea. Yeah.
I think if I would have thought too much into it, like I said, I'm not an outdoorsy girl.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Like as soon as I saw Girl Scout, I thought, oh my gosh, that's scary. But I thought, you know what, let's just go into it and see what happens.
Were you ever in like the Scouts or like the Brownies or anything like that organisation when you were younger?
I wasn't. No.
You weren't.
No.
How was it
no.
going from like not really, like you said, you're not really that outdoorsy
Yeah.
to being thrown into this environment? I assume Girl Scout camps are quite outdoorsy.
Very. Yeah.
How was that for you?
It was. Do you know what? It took a lot to get used to. I was exhausted by the end, but loved it. I think I'm an outdoors girl now. Like I can do a fire. I can do all that kind of stuff.
You can do a fire.
Yeah, I can.
No, that's good. So what, a day-to-day basis, what kind of things are you doing? Because I'm assuming you have like lake and high ropes and all that sort of stuff, but
Yeah.
you were like mentioning about like making a fire and stuff like that. Do you do like a lot of nature walks and like building
Nature
fires? Nature walks, is that what we
Yeah,
call
do you
it?
a lot of nature walks?
No, not necessarily. So it just
We
depends.
do nature walks.
Yeah, we had a couple, but you had to put it into the actual kind of program. So what happened was that you would have kids come to a program, right? And it would be like a particular program. Like one I think we had was called like Marvel, and it was like be like Miss Marvel and like climb the trees or like do all this high ropes kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So then you would create like a schedule, but you would have things already in there that's promised in the program.
Okay.
But then you can completely make up the schedule how you want to do it. So then we would have stuff like, yeah, you can do like a night walk. We used to have one where if it was like a swimming time, you would put like grease up a watermelon. I don't know if you ever did that.
And then like put it in the lake and
Yeah. Oh, it was
Grease
awful
up a
cleaning up
watermelon?
though. Yeah, you put it's sunflower oil. I think we put, or one that was people weren't allergic to.
then oh wow.
And then it's horrible to clean up though. I don't recommend
What,
it.
you grease up watermelon and put it in the lake?
Yeah, and then you try and like catch it. Like you throw it about, the kids throw it about,
Oh,
try
you
and
throw it
catch
about.
it. And it's like really slippery.
That's kind of fun.
And they loved it.
That is fun.
That's fun.
And obviously it just depends who you're with as well. So obviously with a bit when I was with the Brownies and Daisies, we did a lot of
Well,
building.
what is a brownie and a daisy?
sorry, I forget that.
I
not
don't know what
everyone knows
daisy is.
this.
We don't have daisies.
Yeah, so it goes from, so you got the daisies, the brownies, the juniors, the cadets, the seniors and the ambassadors. There's like
Cool
different
names.
age
Yeah.
ranges. So with the daisies and the brownies, it's like 5 to, I want to say like 7 years old.
Oh, so they're quite young then.
Very young,
Yeah.
very, very young. And then you got the juniors were a little bit older, so probably about 8 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
You got the cadets, which are about like 10 to probably want to say like 14. The seniors 14 to about 16, and then you got the ambassadors who are 16 to 18.
Oh, so
wow.
that's
Just
just
how
really
it's
big
done.
age.
And then obviously you can earn badges along the way as well.
Oh, you do get
Oh,
badges. 'Cause
wow.
I was in the Brownies and I used to have the sash that went across.
Yeah.
And you got your badges on it. That was
Yeah.
like the best thing about the Brownies, the badges.
So how is it the same as like over here, earning badges and stuff? Like you do sort of certain activities to get the badges, right?
Yeah, so for some of them we had, like if we had like a fire building kind of activity, you can get like a no match, you can get a one match. So like a one match is just when you light it with one match.
Oh,
And then
cool.
you've got the no match, which is just if you don't use any matches at all. I don't know what the actual proper word for it is, but it's with the that kind of silver thing that
Oh,
you scratch
it's
off.
Oh, like
And then
Flint, yeah.
Yeah,
Flint and
so,
stone.
yeah,
Flint and
yeah.
Stone, yeah. Stone and Flint. whatever.
Get
So
me,
you
I
can
was
get
in the
different
Brownies,
ones.
I know.
And then you had, you know, is it called like polar bears? I don't know if everyone called it this.
No,
I
I
don't
didn't.
Where you get up
know.
super early in the morning, where the lake's like really,
Oh,
really cold.
Sam
did
Sam
this.
did it.
Yes, we did this.
So it was like you just get up super early. I think it's like 6 a.m. I can't remember. And then you go down to the lake. You're in your swimming suit, and then you just jump in. And it's
Oh,
freezing.
it's freezing, yeah.
And then you can get a badge. And what you do is you go around in a circle, and you go. I'm a happy polar bear, and you sing the song and you scream it. So I used to sometimes be sitting in like the cabin, and I can hear them screaming.
It's
about being
fun,
like a
though.
happy polar bear.
You're like,
That's
I'm not
so
happy.
random.
Polar bear.
Yeah, no, I never did it.
It's
Wow.
not. Why not?
No, too cold.
Yeah, it's cold.
Too cold. But you can
That's
get a
the
badge
most
from that
random
as
thing.
well.
That's cool.
Polar bear
Yeah.
badge.
Yeah.
What was it like being? Is it all girls at camp?
Yes, but there are people that did use kind of gender neutral
Okay.
pronouns as well. So we didn't really say, hey girls, hey guys.
Yeah.
We called everyone friends just to keep
Okay,
it
just-
balanced. Yeah.
See, I was going to say the Girl Scouts, like the camps, are quite not renowned, but like a lot of the things we hear about them are that they're very inclusive in terms of gender and things like that.
Yeah.
What was it like being at a camp that was for, I suppose, mainly girls and then like non-binary
Yeah.
people? How was that for you? Did you find it quite empowering? Because obviously Zoe goes to an
Yeah, I
all-girls
go to an
camp.
all girls camp, and I always found it really empowering just being with like people who identify, I guess, as women, and like
Yeah.
like it was just like really empowering being with those people all day.
Oh, 100%. It was great, especially as someone, if you've got like kind of insecurities about like weight or anything like that, it's great because you're all in the same boat. Like we all were there with unshaved legs.
Yeah, that's
you know?
what I
And
felt
it's
like
just
as well.
great as like people that they just don't care.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really like never cared what I looked like at camp.
Yeah.
'Cause it was
I
like
don't think I even looked at a mirror until like
no,
6 weeks later.
same. I didn't even have mirrors at my camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? But it you come away from it just feeling so much better about yourself. I think.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
did you feel like you were so much more confident? Because I did.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So would you say that you came away from this camp and say that it like changed you in some way? Like, do you think it impacted your life after camp?
Yeah, I would say definitely. I feel like I'm a lot more relaxed now about everything, especially with, I don't want to say nature, but yeah, nature.
Yeah.
I'm so much more calmer now, and just, yeah, more relaxed.
Yeah, so I would say that was like a whole camp thing as well. I don't think that's just like one camp type thing. I think all camps, I feel like you come away feeling so much more relaxed and like you care a lot less about things, I think, once you've been to camp. I would
Yeah.
say that's something.
Yeah. Was there anything in particular that you like remember that made you feel like more relaxed? Like, because obviously at camp's quite stressful.
Yeah.
So what was it for you that you were like, oh, this is like the turning point, like this is gonna make me more relaxed, sort of thing?
Yeah, do you know what? I feel like when I came back to UK, I just think back to all those funny times. It just makes me laugh. Like I just
Yeah.
find myself just laughing to myself. Like I don't know if you guys had outdoor showers, but we had
definitely
them.
didn't.
No.
I can tell you that.
With the outdoor showers, obviously, you just open the door and the shower's there. There's no.
So
There's no
what is
curtain
it
or
like?
anything.
Is it just like, I'm imagining just like a wooden shack
Do you know what I'm
with
imagining?
no roof, just like 4 walls. One of them's a door. You open it, it just comes.
Do you know what I think
Yeah,
it looks
similar to
like?
that.
You know where Shrek lives?
Yes.
Do you know
that's
where
what I was
his
imagining.
The
toilet
toilet.
is?
I'm not joking. 100%.
Is that
So
what
then
it
you
looks
have like
like?
you have like 6 of them, so they're all like next to each
Do
other.
they have roofs?
They've got a roof. I can't remember off the top of my head if it's like you got a roof. Yeah, I'm
That
pretty
is
sure.
brilliant. Go on, sorry, I interrupted you.
No, but it just like sometimes I just think back to, especially the younger kids. They used to just run out naked, and
Yeah.
obviously they're not aware of their space,
No.
and you're just
Yeah.
there like, please don't do that. And, and it was
Stop.
on a
Please put some
hill
clothes
as
on.
well, so they used to run down the hill towards us. Just I'm telling everything out.
Catch them, really?
Yeah, everything out.
That is wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
But your
That is
your
funny.
girls do that, though, don't
My
they?
girls do that. So the girls, our showers are inside,
Yeah.
not like Shrek
No, we had
showers.
indoor showers as well.
We just have normal
Oh.
showers.
The outdoor
indoor
showers were
ones.
actually much nicer. They were
Well,
very
Oh,
clean.
we just
Yeah.
have
That sounds
indoor,
nice.
but all the girls, they don't really have good shower curtains. So everyone showers, there's no curtain, and they all shower together like next to each other, and they have
Yeah.
like shower parties with the curtains open.
That
So you
sounds
can't
very
like
weird,
you
but
can't
sure.
like it's like very weird. Like you can't when you go in the showers if you're on shower duty. There's literally like 8 girls like showering in there. Like
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's because it is like all girls, so
Yeah.
they're so much more confident with like their bodies and like
Yeah.
body image and like it sounds really bad, but there are just so many people wandering around with no clothes on.
Weird.
It's so bad.
Bizarre.
But like especially the younger kids, like in my cabin, they'd always be running
yeah,
around.
definitely.
So what would you say you've taken away from working at a Girl Scout camp? Obviously, because you weren't even in the Scouts or like girl guiding. What have you taken away from it?
Like I can't think of anything in particular, but the one thing that I can think of, and I remember when we had our kind of final campfire, it was like this poem was read out to all the CITs, the counsellors in training, and it was like this whole poem about what a counsellor is. and it was like we're psychologists, but we're not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just always think back to like when I had kids that were crying, and I'm, you just have to be there for them.
Yeah.
And it's so sweet when I had people come up to me afterwards, and they were like, "I'm just gonna miss you so much, and you've been so
Yeah.
amazing, and you're so great." And I think back that's all the time, and it just makes me smile. So it's not anything like particular. It's just knowing that I've done everything I could to just change those
Yeah,
children's
like you've
lives.
made a
Yeah.
difference.
And I didn't even like. It's not even something that takes that much effort.
Yeah.
You know, you're just
It's
there.
just you.
It's your
and-
Yeah,
job. It's just
exactly.
what you're doing
Yeah.
day to day.
Yeah, that
Wow.
sounds really good.
Yeah.
What's your one piece of advice if you had to give someone who was thinking about going to a Girl Scout camp or is currently going to a Girl Scout camp? What's your one piece of advice that you would give them about Girl Scouts?
This is a really, really weird one. But so
Weirder the
obviously with the toilets, this is such a story.
Back
a
to the
story that I
Go
don't know
on,
should
go
be
on,
told.
tell
But you
it.
know
Go
what?
on,
I'm gonna
tell
say
us.
it anyway.
Tell it anonymously.
But I will shout this on the rooftop. So with the toilets, obviously, we had a hole in the toilet on the floor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was this particular toilet that was by our kitchen, so it got used a lot. I just want you to
Yeah.
bear that in mind. okay?
Yeah.
So when I went to go for a number 2, as you do,
Yeah. Only normal.
obviously the P level was much higher because it gets used a lot, right? Didn't take that into consideration. Went for a number 2, felt liquid. I want to use the word liquid.
Oh no.
Hit my bottom. So I would definitely recommend. That's just what comes to mind. Just please
have
check
a
the
look.
toilet
Check the toilet.
before you go.
Go to a Girl Scout camp. Check
Honestly,
the toilet. You should have had a nickname from that.
Yeah, you should have been called. I don't even know what you should have been called. That's brilliant.
I'm gonna regret that. but
Yeah,
do
on
you
that
know what?
note,
Yeah, on that note.
I just highly recommend. Please don't, because I had
No,
other people do the same thing.
this is
as
what we
well.
need though.
This is what we
because
need, real
this is-
advice.
Yeah,
You heard Camp America the Truth last week. Well, this is the real
this
truth.
is the real truth. Check the toilets if you're going to a Girl
Yeah.
Scout camp. Well, thanks so much for coming in,
Yeah,
Izine.
thank you for
for coming in, for coming upstairs.
coming upstairs.
Thank you for having
Yeah, we
me.
really appreciate your time, and
Yeah.
hopefully, if you are going to a Girl Scout camp, you've learned something. You've kind of like listened to Izine's experience, and you've learned that if you're going, you need to check the toilets. So the next camp type we're going to talk about is special needs camps. This is a little bit more of a sensitive topic, isn't it?
Yeah, we'd just like to say that we're not experts about any of this. We really don't know anything about these
No,
camp
we
types,
don't.
and that's why we're making these episodes so we can learn about it and we can teach you guys as well if you're going to be going to these camp types, and we can learn together a little bit more about what it's like being at a special needs camp.
Yeah, and we just apologise for any mistakes that we do make. We are learning.
Yeah, we are learning. So we've actually got a guest in today. We've got Jack with us. He actually does work at this camp type. Introduce yourself, Jack.
My name is Jack. I'm 24 from Essex.
Essex.
He did the
you
X
go.
Factor
Yeah.
introduction as well.
No, take me out. Single man, reveal yourself.
Who
I,
did
I
that,
I did
Jake?
that. Yeah, you can cut that out. But...
I went to a special needs camp for 2 summers, one in 2019 and then last summer, 2022.
Which camp did you
What
go
camp?
to?
Yeah.
It was Camp Redleaf
Where was that?
in Illinois, so
Very
about an
nice.
hour north of Chicago.
Oh,
that's
nice.
fun.
That is really nice.
How did you find out about Camp America?
It's quite a funny story, but
Go on.
Go
you
on.
want me to start?
Yeah, give us a story.
Quite cliche, but it was one Saturday night down the pub with my dad and a few friends. Obviously, after many bottles of beer were drunk, I was certainly enjoying myself. One of my dad's friends then began to tell me how he met his wife of about 30 years, who he now has 3 kids with. And at that point, he then explained it was on a summer camp in America.
Oh, no way.
Wow.
I then filled out my application the same evening with Camp America. Initially, I loved the idea of meeting my future wife abroad.
That's what we said. You're still
He just
trying
looked
to
at
find
me
a
as if I
husband.
was his future wife.
Zoe's been trying to find a husband at camp for 5 years.
Wow.
But obviously, the next morning, with a clear head, I delved deeper into what the Camp America program was about, and then realised, obviously, it's all about making memories for others.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then just waited for my next step.
So then you got hired online. Did you get hired online or at a
Hired
fair?
online, yeah.
Hired online. And was this the first camp that reached out to you?
It was, yeah. So obviously, when you're going for the first time, you get nervous that no other camps are going to contact you and stuff like that. So I just said yes straight away and
Yeah.
had my interview, and I was the first male she hired that summer, so
Oh, wow.
she was as excited as I was.
Yeah. Had you ever thought about like working at a special needs camp before?
No, never thought about the idea of working with special needs. It just never crossed my mind. I always felt I didn't have enough experience and just wouldn't be suitable for me.
Did you have any experience at all?
No, I never had any family members who had special needs. I never worked with any special needs.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow. How did that make you feel? Were you nervous? Did you feel like, did you do research?
I just went along with it. Went along with the
Just
flow.
went along with
Yeah.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just went along with it and just dived straight in at the deep end. It didn't really faze me. Obviously, in my interview, I was asked if I'd be comfortable doing certain things with people that had disabilities, i.e. personal care and stuff like that, and I was just open to
Yeah.
trying
wow.
new things.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the best way to be.
Yeah, just
especially
be
if you've, like,
open-minded.
yeah.
That's what we keep saying on this podcast. Like, the more open-minded you are, the better experience that you're going to have at a summer camp, I think.
Because you ended up going back twice, didn't you?
Yeah.
Twice, yeah. So 2019 was my first summer. I was a counsellor, and then obviously I was going to return for the 2 COVID years.
Oh, God, yeah.
And then at the end of the 2021, I had a little email from my camp director, who is now one of my best friends. She was like, "Would you like to come back as the program director?"
See, I
Wow.
thought you had a bit of a step up in career,
Yeah,
and you did.
it was a big jump. So obviously, I'd only been to camp 1 year previous,
Yeah.
but she was program director for like 5 years herself, so
As
I
if she
couldn't have
knew.
anyone better to learn
Yeah.
off.
See, that's
Wow.
brilliant. So the camp itself, obviously, you kind of went in completely blind. What was it like for you when you got to camp? Like, what was sort of like the experience of working at a camp for people with disabilities and stuff?
Obviously, you had the week-long orientation, so
Did they train you a lot in that?
yeah, we had some long hours reading from
Yeah.
booklets and demonstrations on how to lift people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was a good mix between the both, and then it was broken up by some team building activities, which made it just seem really fun.
Yeah.
Obviously, as you're getting to know people as well, the time just flies. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So you obviously had zero experience. Do you think that the training they gave you was like sort of plentiful? Like it was
They're
more
more
than
in
enough?
depth probably than the training we had.
Yeah.
Definitely, because obviously you have to be adaptable to people's needs. So
Yeah, of course.
you
I
have to
heard that they
suit
do
how-
first aid training.
first aid
Yeah.
training. We usually have 2 people who are CPR trained rather than train everyone.
Yeah.
So there's 2 people specifically CPR trained, but we just went through all aspects of that we could.
Yeah. So your camp specifically, because I know that they kind of, this is just sort of generalizing, but special needs camps, especially in the US, they sort of break them up into like different types of abilities. Like, was yours just for everyone, or was it for certain sort of disabilities?
We welcomed every disability. We wasn't restrictive on age,
Okay.
type of disability or anything. We just welcomed everyone. And
Oh wait, so can we go back to that? So did you have people of all ages there then, not just kids?
we had so our age range was from 8 years old to age 99 if they was 99 years
99,
old.
wow.
But obviously we would split the weeks up into youth and adults. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
if there was a quiet week, we would mix, but obviously we would separate the cabins into age-related and make
Yeah.
sure that the people were suitable to be near each other.
So what was the cabin situation like on your camp?
The first year we was a lot busier because obviously we didn't have COVID
Yeah.
involved, so we would have around 8 to 10 campers in a cabin between 3 to 4 counsellors.
Oh, okay. So sort of
Pretty similar.
similar to like
Yeah.
a mainstream camp, I suppose.
But obviously we had the one-to-one basis as well, so
Yeah.
if a camper needed one-to-one additional help, then they would just be looking after that one camper.
Was it quite accessible in terms of like physical disabilities, your camp?
Yes. So we was actually divided by a separate camp as well. So we had another camp on the other side. But if you look at R1 specifically, we had paved roads.
Wow,
and
okay.
We'd have paved paths and obviously bigger toilets and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So it's all suitable to
Yeah.
everyone.
Obviously, you've only done that camp. Would you say it's more of a challenge going to a camp for people with special needs?
Definitely. If I said no, then I'd be lying.
Yeah.
because obviously there is some hard times work with people with disabilities. But I just always say the pros outweigh the cons.
Yeah, definitely.
There's so many rewarding times at a special needs camp.
Do you have any, like, in particular, any stories that, like, really
like,
stick out to you?
That stuck out for you where like you made an impact or something was really challenging?
There's so many stories, but I just like the little things. There was this camper who was really happy one time, and I was helping him brush his teeth, and like we were just laughing together. And obviously we have to sort of adapt how you brush their teeth. But we was just singing a song while brushing his teeth, and he was smiling. So just little things like that, really. Obviously you got the big stories of people doing talent show acts and sitting around a campfire and singing songs. They're obviously amazing, but the little things, just helping someone that couldn't help themselves sometimes, was just so rewarding.
Yeah.
You've just touched on it, you've just touched on it a little bit there, like with the activities that you do at camp. Like obviously we talk a lot about the activities we do at our camp. Is the activities the same? Like, do they adapt them? Like, what is that like?
Obviously I've only been on a special needs camp, so I'm not too sure about other camp types, but we would suit it to their needs. We'd do a lot of sensory activities, lots of hand activities, so they got their hands involved.
So what was that sort of like playing with slime? Like that's
like
quite
playing
big
with
thing.
slime and
like
arts and
things.
crafts and throwing balls into hoops and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. So do you have like, because we always bang on about like the lake and the pool and stuff like that. Do you
Would
still
you
have?
do like swimming?
Is
and,
water
like,
a big thing? at camp?
Water's a big thing, because there were some campers who could only do activities or only enjoy themselves in the water due to being wheelchair bound. So we'd do lots of water activities. We'd be in the water every day.
Really?
We'd have, obviously we're in week segments, so we'd have 6 hours at the lake a week. We'd have like 7 hours at the pool in the week. So the water is a big part of that camp.
At my camp, it just sort of jump about, play like volleyball and whatnot in the water. What sort of things? Is it the same sort of things, or are they like...
we had a big slide, so
okay.
campers that could get up the steps, they'll go down a slide, and then we had basketball hoops. We had, inflatable pool noodles and inflatable deck chairs, and my favourite one was a donut. Used to spin campers around in the donut.
I bet I loved that as well, didn't they?
We've had a lot of donuts in this podcast.
Yeah, we have. Donut was talking to us earlier.
Yeah.
Donuts next to me.
Yeah, you,
Oh,
Zoe
stop.
the donut. So what are the ratios kind of like at your camp in terms of, you mentioned there was a lot of one-on-one. Is it more common to be one-on-one, or was it more common to have like a big
Obviously,
sort of group?
it all depends on how many counsellors we have as well. But when we was at full staff and full campers, we sort of limited it to 8 campers for one-on-one, and then the rest were able to go in a group setting.
Okay.
1 week we had 60 kids, and then 1 week we had 60 adults. So just alternated each week, and we just adapted our staff to the campus
Fit the needs.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds like a common theme for like your camp type, like just everything. Obviously, we always talk about everything's for the kids and the campers, but I suppose at your camp everything was for them, and you kind of just slotted around them and made them.
It feels like your camp's very flexible. Like ours is quite structured, but it feels like your camp's very flexible to meet everybody's needs.
Yeah, there's lots of movement even during the week. If we needed to change a couple of things during the week, we adapted it.
Yeah.
It's all about adaptability, specifically working with special needs.
I have kind of a rogue question that's a bit different to what we've been talking about. But you keep touching on that what happened in 2019 was different to like when you went back to camp the second time. Did camp change because of COVID, like your camp? Because I imagine working with people with additional needs, COVID would have had a bigger impact on their lives.
Yeah, obviously campers had to have tests before they came to camp, and staff had to do testing twice a week.
Did you find you had less campers after COVID than before COVID?
Yeah, we definitely had less campers and less staff members. Just obviously the gap between people returning as well. We had less returning staff because obviously they've moved on with their lives now.
Yeah.
Usually we had an influx of returners every year, like 12 returners. So that was a good base to start on. So
it must make it really difficult for a special needs camp to come back from something like that.
Yeah, sadly after last summer we didn't continue. So 2022 was our last summer. due to not being able to recover after COVID. So
Yeah.
That's such a shame because these kind of camps do give people like incredible opportunities.
yeah, we opened 60 years ago.
Wow.
So 60 years of memories and have just gone like that. But yeah,
Wow.
I'm just glad we
You got to
was
experience
able
Got to
to
experience it, yeah.
able to play a part in people's lives.
So would you say that working at this camp had a big impact on your life?
Definitely changed my life. When I was 18, I was just a little boy with no purpose in life, and I dived straight in the deep end in 2019, and I feel like now I'm a mature and
Yeah.
experienced young adult now. I now work with special needs back home as a support worker. I work in a residential home with a young lad, hopefully going back to it after the summer. So if I didn't go to camp and dive straight in at the deep end,
Wow.
then, yeah,
So you really have benefited from Camp America.
definitely. It did change my life. The program itself as well, and learning about other people. Yeah, it was just amazing.
And now, Jack, you now work as a brand manager for Camp
Interviewer
America.
now.
An interviewer as well.
Sorry, you're wrong. Naughty.
Oh,
She's an
so
yeah.
an interviewer. Yeah, you
Well,
were a brand manager, right? And now you're an interviewer.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
you've gone on to do more within Camp America as well.
It all started off as an applicant, and then obviously an email got sent out about being a brand manager from Zoe next to me.
Yeah, wasn't it?
She got me involved with Camp America, so big props to her.
Thanks.
Then when I stopped being brand manager, I then turned to recruitment fair helper,
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
then,
You went to the fairs, didn't you?
and then I turned it into a regional interviewer now. So
Wow. So what would you say to someone, because you obviously talk to applicants a lot now, what would you say to someone who was just like you, they were 18, they had no experience with working with people with additional needs? What would you say to them if they're at recruitment fair and they were thinking about doing what you did?
life's too short sometimes, so don't live with any regrets. Sometimes you just have to go out your comfort zone to change your life, and I did that. So it's all about going out of your comfort zone at camp and just ensure you have a fun time.
Wow.
Wow. Anything else to add, Joe?
Not that I can think of. I think we've
No,
covered
I think
most
we've
of it,
covered
haven't we?
everything. Well, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, I really appreciate that.
Yeah,
I think
Jack, it was really insightful actually.
really, I've learned a lot about
I've learned a lot. Yeah.
camps for people with special needs.
Because it really is something that we don't even think about. Because
No.
if you go to one camp type, you don't always consider what happens at other camp types. And there are so many incredible things happening in the summer camp world, and we often don't even think about it.
Yeah, and I think this is the perfect example of it's not where you are, it's who you're with,
Yeah,
and that's what really makes a difference.
completely.
Definitely, it's a lot about teamwork at camp. All the staff
Yeah.
members were just helping each other.
I bet you're a proper tight knit team, weren't you?
Yeah, we were a tight-knit team, sometimes too tight-knit. And
Yeah.
we did clash sometimes just
Yeah.
because of how close we work with each other. But yeah, I had a couple of hiccups with some people, but
Yeah.
I now speak to them now back home, and they're some of my best friends now. So
Oh.
it's all about working through those tough times,
Yeah.
and you come out the end of it with a smile on your face and realising what the purpose you're there for.
I
Yeah.
think that extends across all camp types, and I think
Yeah.
we can round that up from this video. Is wherever you go,
Not a video, it's
this
podcast.
podcast. We normally do videos,
My
but
dad asking
Yeah.
me, is it videoed? Is it on
maybe
YouTube?
we'll
Yeah.
video
Like,
it.
you're gonna have to listen to it and not watch it.
Yeah, we don't
I'm
have to
too
watch
scared to be videoed. But yeah, I think that rounds it up nicely. That wherever you work at camp, you know, everyone is making a difference. We're all there for the same reasons at the end of the day, and it is for the kids, and
Mm-hmm.
it is to make an impact. And every single person we've talked today has made an impact on someone's lives, and camp
Yeah.
has an impact on their lives as well.
it. Yeah, I think just enjoy yourself.
Yeah, just enjoy yourself because it's the best summer you'll ever have, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
I would just sort of close on just trying to treat every day as a new day as well. Just walk out that door with a clear head and come back in with another clear head.
Yeah,
Just treat each day as a new day and try and take a step back sometimes. Sometimes working with people with disabilities, it can get a bit hectic and it just can be a blur. So I've forgotten things that happened in 2019
Yeah.
and I just realised I just wish I took a step back to appreciate
the
it.
moment more. Yeah.
Appreciate the
Yeah.
moment. Yeah, live in the moment.
Wow.
Oh,
On that note,
Yeah, on that note.
perfect.
Perfect. Thank you for
Thanks.
joining us.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you for
Hopefully you've
having
learned
me.
something as well.
Yeah.
And
So-
if you're listening to this,
Thank you for listening to today's podcast.
yeah, me and you have learned a lot.
I've
I
learned a
think,
lot
today.
across this whole podcast so far.
Yeah.
Just chatting to even Joes, chatting to other people that have gone to camp.
Yeah.
The best way to learn about summer camp is chatting to people who have been.
Yeah.
So join us on the next
episode,
podcast.
which we don't know what it's going to be about,
We say that every week. It's always a surprise.
but we do really. We've already recorded it.
But if you have any stories, we're looking for travel stories or stories about how camp has impacted your life. Drop us an email to podcast@campamerica.co.uk.
Thanks. Bye.